Well, it's Tuesday Wrestling, and you all know what that means. That means once again we get to review NWA Powerrr. They continue on with more first round matches of the Champions Series with four new teams that have been announced. And also, we got five matches on AEW Dark, which was very interesting that they kept it shorter. And also, NXT enter its fallout after deadline. So we will see what would take place. As you know, we have two number one contenders for both the NXT Championship and the NXT Women's Championship. But what does this mean for everyone else involved? What does that involve for the tag team division? Other special grudges that have been going on in NXT? Well, we'll be reviewing that as well. But first things first, we're going to review. As you know, I did not release any video earlier in the day. The only thing that was available was AEW Dark Elevation. So I'm going to put that today for all of you. That way, you guys may or may not know, I like to put everything in order from the date it happened, and that's how I roll in this channel. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome, everybody, to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with AEW Dark Elevation. As you know, I did a review from Monday, so I decided, what the heck, let's just do this one for this one, just to crowd everything. But however, just like AEW Dark, this one also had five matches. So let's talk about those matches. The opening one, we have Emi Sakura versus Danny B. Now this is, of course, the first time we see Emi Sakura taking things a little bit serious. So that's a good thing. As you know, she is trying to reign supreme as the queen that she is. But it was the Dragon Sleeper that she applied onto Danny B to force her to tap out, giving her the win. Next up, we got the members of the Jericho Appreciation Society, Matt Menard and Angela Parker. This match went quick. Their opponents is Zach Mason and Warren Johnson, so they just apply like a double DDT on Johnson, and it was over right from there. So that was the quickest one. They didn't even break a sweat. I'm not sure if they're still pissed off that things do not go well for them. I had Ring of Honor. We do get a little piece of video package coming from the Butcher and the Blade. As you know, the tag team division is now becoming serious. As you know, we've been seeing recently how the As Boys have targeted to destroy the legacy of FTR, but the Butcher and the Blade are putting the entire tag team division on notice. Now we know they could possibly go from the bottom all the way to the top to gain the tag team titles. All we got to do is wait and see, but we will see who will be strong enough or smart enough or had the guts to deal with them. So we'll find out when that day comes. Now, our next match, we have women's action. We have Willow Nightingale versus Vixen. This one was a pretty good match. It was a pound for pound type. But, however, instead of doing a Dr. Bomb like we normally see Willow Nightingale always apply in her matches, she applies a strong spine buster, and 1, 2, 3, it's over. Wilton Nightingale wins the match. But however, during the post match, here comes Ty Mello and Anna Jay to deal with once again the beat up Wilton Nightingale. If you guys remember, it was Willow who beat Anna Jay a couple of weeks ago, but Ruby So comes out with a little lead pipe. But now it's been confirmed for winter is coming. Ruby Soho will face Ty Mello. Now, our next match, we have a tag team match. We got Zach Clayton, the Reality, teaming with Xavier Nolly to take on the Best Friends. Now, Zach, we never seen him in any tag team like that much often, but things don't go exactly according to plan for him. In this case, he and Zayn argued and he walked off while the Best Friends, Chuck and Taylor, took him out and 1, 2, 3 was over. But they did show some sportsmanship on Zayn to show him that they're not a bunch of a-holes like Zach Clayton, who walked out on his tag team partner. Now, our main event, we have Brandon Cutler teaming with Chaos Project, Serpentico and Luther, to take on Ari Daivari, the leader of the Trustbusters, and Varsity Athletes, Josh Woods and Tony Nese, along with that moron, Smart Mark Sterling. And as you know, this is how it's ended. It was a pretty good match. I have to say, I liked it because it gave so much excitement, especially with Cutler, who is like a bit of the fan favorite. One thing that was fun is, of course, you know how when the referee's back is turned, Brandon Cutler likes to use the cold spray on his opponents, but Smart Mark Sterling tried to remove it, and then he tried to give a taste of Cutler's medicine, but it backfired. He actually got Tony Nese. We thought that could have been the biggest upset in Cutler's career, but no, it was the combination that took out a backbreaker that took out Brandon Cutler by both Nese and Woods, and then of course the final touch is Ari Daivari with the frog splash. 1, 2, 3, they win. And I think that's pretty much it with AEW Dark Elevation. I believe it's time for NWA Powerrr. Okay, NWA Powerrr. We continue with more of the first round matches of the Champions Series. Now, we did have 4 teams that were announced. We have Team Great, led by Zion, Team Tyrus, Team Brickhouse, I forgot who it was, on Team Fixtures. However, it was already revealed that Team Tyrus and Team Great are advanced in the next round. So this is going to be an interesting clash between 2 teammates. So it's going to be a lot of fun. However, this time we get 4 more new teams involved. So here are the teams they announced. We have Team Rock and Roll, led by Kerry Morton. Team Pretty, led by Kenzie Page. We have Team Rebellion, led by the La Rebellion. And then finally, Team Gold, led by Jordan Clearwater. Now, you probably noticed that each of these teams have team leaders have gold, like Tyrus, who is the current NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Scion, who is the current NWA National Championship, Camille as the NWA World's Women's Champion, and of course we have the Fixers, the current NWA USA Champions, and of course with the current teams, Team Rock and Roll, led by Kerry Morton, he is the current Junior Heavyweight Champion. Team Pretty, of course, Kenzie is one half of the NWA Women's Tag Team Champion, and of course La Rebellion, the current NWA World Tag Team Champion, and then finally Team Gold, led by Jordan Clearwater, who is the current NWA World Television Title. So it makes sense that each captain carries gold. So that's kind of interesting how this was going. Now, let's proceed with the 4 matches that were announced they had for this one. First one is tag team action. We got Trevor Murdoch and Red Titus representing Team Pretty to take on Dak Draper and Nims representing Team Rock and Roll. I thought this match was pretty good because it showed a bit of the pound for pound, big size dudes that can handle it. And I think that shows us. But in this case, who was going to walk out representing the team? Well, in this particular match, it was Trevor Murdoch with the Bulldog onto Nims that gave them their 5 points in this particular. So it went in that. And as for Team Rock and Roll, 0. Now our next match, we have singles competition. We have Jax Dane representing Team Rebellion versus um, Chris Adonis representing Team Gold. Now, this match was also pretty good, but however, that weasel of attorney Chris Silvio shows up, declaring that um the full Nelson lock, or as people call it, the master lock, was an illegal move and all this, and so he tried to interfere. It almost cost him the match, but however, Jack Stain tried to reverse it onto Chris Adonis, but Adonis was able to break free. Then he tried again, but I believe this is an act of desperation that when Chris Adonis applied once again a second time of the full Nelson lock, Jack Stain gave a low blow and costing Team Rebellion the match, rewarding Team Gold with 3 points. But of course, during an interview that was conducted by May Valentine, Silvio doesn't care about the points. The only thing he cares about is the well-being of his client, Jack Stain. He claims that the move isn't illegal. I like to call it BS. But one way or the other, someone's going to have to kick his butt. Now, our next match, we have Luke Hawx representing Team Pretty to take on Alex Taylor representing Team Rock and Roll. I thought this match was awesome because it was unbelievably good. Now, you got two members, two wrestlers who are not only specialized, they specialize in tag team, but we can see them stepping up their game. I thought this match could have fallen to favor in Luke Hawx, but it was of course a cradle shock by Alex Taylor to Luke Hurry that gave Team Rock and Roll the advantage, so they gain in this match 5 points, while Team Pretty gets 0. Now our main event, we feature of course Kobe Carino representing Team Rebellion to take on AJ Kazana. I thought this match was also going to be good. It was great, but I was like surprised how AJ Kazana took much of this by beating down on Kobe Carino outside the ring. But in this case, he was able to apply the crossface chicken wing. Now, Kazana tried desperately in his power to crawl to the ring ropes in order to hope that he can get a rope break. But unfortunately, he passed out, giving, of course, 6 points to Team Rebellion. So this is how it ends. Team Rebellion gains 6 points while Team Gold stays at 3. So at this point of the tournament, Team Rebellion has the lead with 6 points. But just to make a friendly reminder, we are going to have more of the Champion Series of the first round with these teams at NWA USA. So we would see who will be the next 2 teams to advance in the second round. Like I said before, we already have Team Great, led by Scion, and Team Tyrus, led by Tyrus himself. So they're already in the second round, but who will make it to the next? We just got to wait and see. So right now, let's end it right here with NWA. So let's move on with AEW Dark. Okay, AEW Dark opened up with Ty Mello along with her husband Sammy Guevara taking on Miranda Vionette. Don't know much about her, but I can tell you that this match ended in favor of Ty Mello with a submission move, giving her the win. Next match, we have The Factory. Cole Carter, Lee Johnson, and QT Marshall taking on Joe Keys, Chris Steeler, and LSG. I thought it was also a pretty good match. Pretty good moments by the opposing team of the Factory, but however, it was the combination between both Carter and Johnson that gave the suspense for QT Marshall to apply the diamond cutter on LSG, but it was, of course, Carter who picked up the win by pinning LSG, and that's pretty much it, folks. Now, our next match is singles competition. We have Zach Clayton taking on Steve Pena. Once again, as you know, Clayton is sending Zach is sending his message loud and clear to everyone, and of course, once again, being disrespectful to the people of Jersey, as always, since he is from the Jersey Shore, and nobody likes the Jersey Shore. But it was once again the Fisherman's Buster onto by Clayton to Pena that gave him the win. Now, our next match, we have Kip Sabian along with Penelope Ford taking on GCW's very own a-hole, Tony Deppen. Now, this was also a pretty good match. As you know, Deppen, he is the kind of guy who plays the, like, I don't give a damn move. But, however, it was Kip Sabian's with the Psycho Driver that allowed him to win the match. I'm sure his feud with Orange Cassidy is not done yet, but we will see what happens on Dynamite all the way to Rampage. Now, our next match, our main event, we have the Trustbusters, Slim J teaming up with Jeeves K to take on the most dangerous guy, Eddie Kingston and Ortiz. I thought this match was pretty good because, you know, Eddie, he's the kind of guy you don't want to mess with. You don't want to be around with, but he always ends this match with him. With, you know how he is. He actually put, I think it was Jeeves. Yeah, he put Jeeves in the stretch plunge, and of course he had no other choice but to tap. But Slim J also ended up in a stretch plumb. But the one thing you need to do not piss off a Kingston. So that's pretty much what we have with AEW Dark. So let's move on to our final review, NXT. Okay, our final review, NXT. Opened up with Roxanne Perez. As you know, she is #1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship. But however, while she was proceeding to do her promo, she was interrupted by that scumbag, Grayson Waller, who, as you know, bragged about, okay, yeah, we know he's the #1 contender. But he doesn't believe that Roxanne Perez will dethrone Mandy. But of course, later, to her defense, here comes Braun Breaker to back her up, telling him that, you know, that Roxanne is the future NXT Women's Champion. But, however, things have become a little bit heated between both sides. So Braun decided to chase Waller, but all of a sudden, while that was happening, Mandy Rose attacked Roxanne Perez from behind. But of course, Roxanne decided, instead of wait for New Year's Evil, they decided that they're going to have the match as the main event, which was later, of course, accepted. Now let's proceed further. Now, we do get a medical update with McDonough. As you know, he went through hell at the at the Iron Survivor Challenge, and then he got in the face of the Creed brothers once again, and later he put himself in a match against Brutus. Now, our next match, we were supposed to have Wesley versus Stax. Now, as you know, for a while, Stax accused Wesley of intentionally hurting the Don of NXT. But, however, he didn't see it like it was intentional. He sees it was just an accident. But however, the match itself was really intense. But however, it was a pretty good, interesting finish by Wesley with innovation offense by using like a backflip kick onto Stax that gave him the win. However, Dijak shows up and tries to get in his face, but he got attacked from behind by the Don to send a clear message. I wouldn't be surprised that somewhere down the line we're going to have a three-way match for the North American title. So that is something we will be seeing. Now, we do get a little segment in the back where we have Andre Chase, along with the Hell talking, and then all of a sudden they see, of course, um, Duke Hudson talking with Drew Gulak. Now, they presume that he was being transferred, but no. But, of course, Andre Chase last week was not 100% clear of his head. You see what happened is Hell put herself in a match against Isla Dawn. Um, Hudson protests, believing that she was not ready for it. But Chase was willing to admit, yes, he was wrong. So he had a match against later on. I forgot who he was. Oh yeah, Damon Kemp, but that's a little later. Now we do get a women's tag team match. We have um, the Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan and Daisy Jane taking on Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxton. Now keep in mind, during the commentary section, we did have, of course, our current NXT Women's Tag Team Champions in the commentary giving their thoughts. But however, Toxic Attraction, who are not too thrilled to see them at all, they are sick to their stomach seeing their titles at someone else's possession, and they tossed Ivy Nile towards her. And then the match ended in a disqualification when they got themselves involved. And of course, this fight took place right in the back. It was a never-ending story between all three teams. But it was told that this next week for NXT, we will have a three-way match for the NXT um, women's tag team titles. So that's going to be very interesting to see. Now, our next up we have is, of course, Fallon, who's dealing with some problems of her own personally. But of course, uh, Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs are there to comfort her, so that's the sort of thing. Now, once again, as you know, we're already a few days away from what happened to Deadline. Hayes is still believing that he did not lost and all that, but however, it appears that he may begin a feud with the resident superhero Axiom. So basically, he's gonna have a little fight. But Axiom to get an interview. He knows that he's gonna be facing them, so he knows sometimes the stack is against him. So we will see that match next week as well. Now, next match we have Von Wagner along with Mr. Stone dealing with Odyssey Jones. I thought this match was the Battle of the Bohemians. It was pretty impressive, but of course Stone gets himself involved. But because of that, it cost Von Wagner the match because Malik Blade kicked him right in the head. Payback for destroying his father's sweater. But it did allow for a crossbody by Odyssey Jones to give him the win. So that's going to be awesome right there. Now, once again, Javier Bernal has been acting like a total weirdo, talking about his fan base, but he knows right now he has to face against Inca Manjero. Inca Manjero is no slouch. He is the kind of guy you can tell all he wants to do is have a little fun. And of course, that's what happened in the match. He played a little fun. Javier Bernal had no chance against him until he kicked him in the head, and Ikemenjiro won. But however, during the post match, out of the blue, here comes Scripps attacking him. It's still unclear what was the purpose of him attacking Ikemenjiro, but he did took his jacket from him. Um, we could see a possible feud with Scripps, but we will see what happens then. Now, Wendy Chu, as you know, she went into a different phase after being humiliated by Cora Jade. She explains that after Cora Jade sprayed her little drink on her face, she mentioned about her past, how during a slumber party the host did that to her. So that kind of feels like, okay, now it's personal for what happened, but it's gonna be a good story to tell. Now, as you know, deadline we have brand new NXT Tag Team Champions, Triple Crown winners, and Kofi Kingston has confirmed this that now he is 15-time Tag Team Champion, and of course, Pretty Deadly are disgusted they cannot, but however, they were willing to give him the rematch under one condition. They have to set the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, they couldn't do it, however, Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs took advantage and they said it. So they're going to have a tag team title match next week. Now, we do, as you know, we're still coming off after deadline. Once again, Elektra Lopez decided to talk trash about Indy Hartwell. It appears that she has issues towards her, but however, Indy Hartwell did not take that kindly, so she attacked her. So we may see a feud between those two. That's going to be very interesting to see. Now, our next match, we have JD McDonough taking on Brutus Creed. Match was great. Not to mention, JD McDonough was about to hurt once again Brutus with the chair, but in the chair decided to make sure that the Creed brothers are at 100%, which is something they've been looking forward to it. So we will see what happens. Now, we do get an interview with Zoe Starks. As you know, she entered one of the biggest matches of her life. But however, it appears that her former friend, Nikita Lyons, kind of did something to her. You can see it on TikTok. It appears that Zoe Starks did not like it. So basically, she got her attention. So it looks like we're going to see that feud between them after all. Now, our next match, which is the semifinal, we have Amari Miller taking on the debut of Little Valkyria. I thought it was a pretty good match. I love Valkyria. If you guys ever seen her on NXT, she was amazing. But let's see how this one's played out. But she did pick up her first win by applying a somewhat of a flower splash, giving her the win. And I thought, what a great moment. Now, our next match, we have Duke Hudson along with Chase U taking on Damon Kemp. I thought this match was pretty good. It did show how Drew Gulak might have given him some pointers. And of course, Duke Hudson picked up a good win by applying a big boot onto Damon Kemp, giving him his first win as a member of Chase University. So I thought, what a great moment. Now our main event is the NXT Women's title. Man, it was a pretty good one. You can tell that this is a battle of, okay, you have Mandy Rose, who has proven time and time again that she is good at what she does. But you look at Roxy, who is determined to prove she is the ultimate underdog. And that's always a good story to tell. The underdog always finds a way to win against them. However, there was a moment where, of course, she did, Mandy Rose applied that knee strike into her face, and she kicked out. You can tell by the look of Mandy Rose, there was no way. But however, it was Pop Rocks that sealed the deal for her to pick up her first win and become NXT Women's Champion. And once again, you guys can say it, Booker T once again is proud of his student winning this title and mentioning the ROH Women's title. So if you guys know this, Roxanne, when she was known as Roxy, she was starting the year as the ROH Women's Champion, and she ends the year by becoming the NXT Women's Championship. Now, some of you may question right now, why did they drop the belt now? There have been consistently reports that recently there have been some leakage photos about Mandy Rose that kind of put them to change the plans. So I don't blame WWE for that, but I don't know if that's 100% true. But if it is, then it could be a problem. They don't want their top star to be looked at differently. And I understand that. That's the sort of thing you don't want to have. But we'll see what happens next week. Of course, the story goes that we could see Mandy Rose head back to the mid roster. I know she has talked about hopefully one day she gets called back. And I think that's what we all expected. So I think that's pretty much it right now with NXT. So let's move on with news updates. Okay, so So here are our news updates. Now, this one is part at the top of the pile. You may have heard what's been going on. It appears that Vince McMahon wants to make a comeback to WWE. Now, the reason behind that, he feels that he regrets taking bad advice from people close to him. Now, keep in mind, Vince was under investigation over a scandal or a scam, whatever he was under investigation. He was advised that it was best for him to retire. He feels now that it's not going to happen. However, things may not look great right now for him. It appears that, of course, new allegations from two other women have come forward about Vince's, you know, behavior, whatever he was up to. Now, I know many fans at the moment. For me, as a fan, would I want Vince to come back? Look, we cannot deny about his business, how he's done, what he's done, but decisions that he's been making is what caused the problem, and I think that's something we cannot have. I mean, under Triple H's um, direction, I feel is doing way better than it was before, and I think we all can say, "Come on, Vince, just stay away, just enjoy your retirement." So let's move on. If you guys have heard about Kota Ibushi, as you may have remembered, his contract with New Japan expires by the end of January of 2023. Now, reports are coming in saying that Cyberfight, the owners of DDT and Pro Wrestling Noah, has given him an offer. Now, as you know, prior before going to New Japan, um, Kota Ibushi was in DDT Pro Wrestling. I don't remember for how many years, but it would be a good thing for him. But we don't know for sure. There's been reports about him possibly making the decision to go to AEW. Others are speaking about him saying that he may want to do his own promotion. Who knows what the scenario is, but there's concerns over his decision making. So we'll see what happens then. Recently, in a Pro Wrestling Bazaar show, a Japanese promotion that involves death matches, during after a match, uh, Fuminori Abe announced to his fans that by the end of this year, he will no longer be registered as a talent booked from one particular promotion. He is now changing his status to freelancing. We have been seeing this type of thing with wrestlers before in the past. It appears that wrestlers prefer to be freelancers than be wrestlers at a certain promotion. Um, Prime example is Minoru Suzuki. He's not officially signed with New Japan, but he goes where the money is goes. Interesting developments taking place in RevPro, Revolution Pro Wrestling, British promotion. We originally were supposed to have Ricky Knight Jr. take on the Great Khan for the undisputed British Heavyweight Championship against the Great Khan, but it appears that his uncle, you guys know him, Zach Knight, or known as Zach Zodia, decided to step up on his behalf. So this is going to be interesting to see. Now, Wrestling Revolver has two different things are taking place on a night at the Moxbury. Evil Uno will be making his debut, which is exciting news. And of course, it was announced that Ace Austin and Chris Bay will be making their return to Revolver Wrestling. Now, DEFY Wrestling has announced for their upcoming anniversary show that John Moxley will be making his return, and this one will take place on the 11th of February. So set your calendar straight if you're big DEFY fans. Next up, West Coast Pro has announced for their You Can Work Friday that will take place on the 6th of January. A match has been set. We have Brian Keith taking on Black Taurus, which is interesting. Now, another match has been booked for Garden State Pro for Duality that takes place on the 15th. We have Titus Alexander versus Robert Marty. And of course, we have Prestige Wrestling announcing for the reality Unfold that will take place on 17th of February. Sandra Moon will be making her return to this promotion. Um, as you know, JCW has announced for the Battle Bowl event. They just announced their next entrant, and that entrant is none other than Rob Shit, who will make his debut. GCW events update. So this is what we have. The Save Me show that's taking place in Chicago. It will have for a match Homicide versus John Wayne Murdoch. That's gonna be killer. And then of course we have to take a picture that will take place on the 21st. It was announced that Action Mike Jackson will be there. Now I want to talk about this little interesting development that took place. Someone tweeted this. Well, there was a moment of a video where Dax Harwood of FTR posted a video of himself in the match against Speedball Mike Bailey. Someone posted this out saying, Tony Khan, I see something here. Why not have a match between FTR versus Speedball Mike Bailey and Konosuke Takeshita? And Dax Harwood actually replied, you got something going here. Now, some of you are saying, really? Why we want to see a match between Speedball and Konosuke Takeshita? Well, if you guys know this or not, 5 years ago, Konosuke Takeshita and Speedball Mike Bailey were tag champions. If you guys remember when Mike Bailey was banned from coming here to the States, he went to Japan and he was Konosuke Takeshita's tag team partner. So it would make sense. So it would be interesting to see that. Now, our final update. As you know, Hijo Del Vikingo has announced that he'll be making his U.S. tour real soon. But however, Lucha Blog, a Twitter page, put this out today. According, this is what they had to say. As it stands now, Triple H is telling all U.S. promoters that they can book Hijo Del Vikingo, but they're not allowed to stream his matches. I have yet been told Paulie can expand to the VOD2, but I haven't heard the confirmed from promoters yet. I have thoughts about this logic policy, but part of you need to know to go in person to see Vikingo at this point. Haven't heard, but it's safe to assume rules for TV promotions will be different. Now, I don't know what's the deal with. Now, I did encounter Puma King, a wrestler. I was gonna ask Avia take a couple of clips with him for a YouTube channel for this YouTube channel, but however, because of his signing, it forbade him from ever doing it. It would make perfect sense about that, but don't know exactly how it's gonna be. So I think that's pretty much it. So we'll be talking more about that. Anything on Vince and Kota Ibushi, I will be following if it's anything changes. So I think that's pretty much it. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have the finals of World Tag League and Super Junior Tag League. I'm so excited to see who's going to walk out as our winners. And also, we cannot forget, winter is coming, AEW Dynamite. I'm so excited for that too. Now, if there's anything else taking place, oh yeah, we do have a GLEAT MMA version 0. I will be doing a review of what I think about this particular um, show that they post out involving MMA, even though it's not wrestling, but it's going to be interesting to review. And if there's anything else, I'm still waiting for Watch Pro Wrestling to upload the latest Stardom events that took place this past weekend. We'll just see what happens then. So I think that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.